Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Operation Sheesh Mahal is India's biggest talking point. A news break that has sent tremors right into the Aam Admi Party camp, and Kejriwal's Sheesh Mahal is now nothing short of a Raj Mahal. One thing is clear, that Aam Admi Party and company has left nothing to the imagination when it comes to how to live in style and luxury. The man who branded himself as the symbol of simplicity and swore by the austerity that he wanted to share with normal people on the streets was so obsessed with building a Raj Mahal for himself that he neither cared for rules nor for public perception. See this and you will know how drastically the truth differs from the facade.
मुझे अपनी औकात पता है। मैं बहुत छोटा सा आदमी हूं। मेरी बहुत छोटी सी औकात है। आज मेरे घर में 4 या 5 कमरे हैं। 4-5 कमरों से ज्यादा की मेरे को क्या जरूरत है भाई साहब। उतनी जगह चाहिए और जगह की क्या जरूरत है। तो बस इतनी जगह लूंगा मैं, इतना ही बड़ा मकान लूंगा और बड़ा मकान नहीं लूंगा, चिंता मत करो।
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll show you pictures. And it's always said pictures speak 1,000 words. And in this case, probably the pictures have unmasked the khas aadmi. Let me show you these visuals on the big screen here. This was the original Chief Minister's residence. 309 square meters was the area in 2021. Can we go back to the 2021 visual, please? I'll show you. This was 309 square meters. This is where his house was. And look at this entire area. Trees, the green cover, which is so important in the protected zone of civil lines where the Chief Minister's residence was. 309 in 2017. Look at 2021, building up area activities going on. This is where the house used to be. This is where he stayed. This house is still here. And this was the new Sheesh Mahal that came up behind this house. And look at the green cover. The green cover almost gone because trees have been felled. And these trees had to be replaced. And I'll show you the documentation of what happened to the rules and regulation of those trees, because there is an Act 1994 where you cannot cut trees in that area of Delhi. But the Sheesh Mahal was made behind the original house, and that original house by September of 2022 actually was raised down and has become a lawn. A lawn here, a lawn in front. Obviously, this lawn with this house was too small. So this lawn now continues with parking space, etc., etc. And here comes a new house for the new resident. From 309 meters, it's gone up to 1,212 square meters. And it has 3 floors. So that is a total living carpet area of 1,900 square meters, and that is the conversion of the Sheesh Mahal. And questions need to be asked. And my first question is that if we go by the official explanation of the Aam Admi Party, the old house roof was falling and it fell thrice in the room of the parents of the Chief Minister. But he continued to live in it because he hasn't shifted out of that bungalow. Continued to live in the old house for 2 years. And then moved to the new Sheesh Mahal after a new Sheesh Mahal was built. Wow. And then all the tenders talked about addition and renovation. If you wanted to build a new house, why did you only float tenders for renovation and addition? Now, is that not subterfuge? Is that not against the rules? Well, that's one question that we've been asking. If these pictures tell you how this bungalow grew from a Sheesh Mahal to a Raj Mahal, complete with a tennis court. You know, Aam Admi, tennis court in your house, office premises in your house, 7-bedroom, many drawing rooms, halls, 2 kitchens and 2 floors, a state-of-the-art gym, all of that. But Aam Admi, Aam Chief Minister. And not just that, 28 trees were axed in batches, and these batches actually show you how rules and regulations were completely given the miss. Let me show you the first application that goes in. 28th of October 2020, that they want to remove 9 trees. This goes on 28th of October, and here, please watch, ladies and gentlemen, because the construction of the new block has been started in the campus of 6 Flagstaff Road. So they say they want to remove the trees because construction has already begun. Well, who was approving that construction? And if the trees had to be removed, why did they not wait for the approval to come before the construction began? But that's for you and me. We have to follow all the rules and regulations. Definitely not Mr. Kejriwal. 28th October 2020, this application was made, and here is on file the signature of the then Environment Minister, Mr. Gaurav Bhatia, Minister of Environment, Forest and Wildlife. On the 2nd of November 2020, 4 days. 4 days. This is all that it took to get the approval, and then of course came the promises that when we cut the mango tree, the amla tree, we will replace them with 10 times more plantations. So 9 trees cut, 90 will be planted. But let me show you then how these rules were also not adhered to. 60 trees in another application were to be planted for cutting 6 trees. Nobody, and more of such documents of permissions, etc., and everything is urgent because 6 trees from the residence of Honorable Chief Minister, as the construction of new block has been started. Again, please immediately give us clearances, and the clearances come. Let me also show you when they did not plant trees that were supposed to be planted in return for the permissions given, then the Delhi Forest Department asked them, gave them notices to appear on in March of 2021 and 22. Nobody appeared for the hearing. This is in March 2022. Again, another notice was given. Nobody appeared again on 23rd of November 2022. Just don't turn up because questions are being asked. Why should anybody answer questions? After all, these are the same people who framed the rules. Why do they have to answer? So we don't know. 28 trees were cut, 280 should come up, but nobody answered any questions. And nobody was willing to give any answers. And these are the rules that have been completely given the miss. Let me tell you, the same Aam Admi party, rules were defied for the caste chief minister, but look at these headlines. In the case of Delhi Metro 4 project, 65 kilometers of metro line was stuck for 2 years and 6 months. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, 2.5 years, leading to an over-escalation of the cost by 1,568 crore, 1,568 crore. But for the CM, 4 days flat, clearance given. AIMS redevelopment project was delayed too by a year or more. But permission for the CM came in just 4 days. Look at other questions of various plants, CRPF colony, what have you. And these are headlines from newspapers. These are not something that I am reporting. 4 days for the Chief Minister, but Delhi Metro, which is used by the Aam Admi, well, that can be held up for 3 years. How does it matter? That is the double standards of the politics of the Aam Admi Party. So the legitimate question I'm asking on the NewsHour tonight, will the Aam Admi Party end this denial? Will they answer our questions? Because our reporters are not being allowed into press conferences, and on 3 different days, our reporters have been manhandled, have been pushed and shoved. And we'll continue to ask the questions. That's the question and the debate coming up on the other side.
You're watching the News Hour at 9. Debate number 1 on Times Now. Super Prime Time.
Joining the debate tonight, Tushar Gupta, Senior Editor, Swarajya, Suhel Seth, columnist, Ravi Srivastava, political analyst, Huda Zariwara, political analyst, supports the Aam Admi Party, Dr. Sanjay Jha, author, suspended Congress leader. But my first question goes to Mr. Gaurav Bhatia, national spokesperson of the BJP. Mr. Gaurav Bhatia, no answers over the last 8 or 9 days that Operation Sheesh Mahal was first unveiled by Times Now Navbharat, and today we're asking new questions on how Mr. Arvind Kejriwal continued to live in that house where the roof was collapsing for 2 years, building a house behind it and then demolishing this to make a lawn. And all the tenders that were floated were only for renovation, addition, alteration. I want to ask you, number one, is this only about morality anymore? Or is this really breach of rules, regulation, laws that should be followed by anybody else, but also those who are sitting in constitutional positions?
Navika, first of all, let me congratulate you and Times Now for this excellent journalism that we have witnessed. You know, I must say that it was the duty of the Chief Minister, who calls himself an Aam Admi, to be completely transparent and answer every question of Times Now, which is very pertinent for citizens of Delhi as well as the country. But no answers have come forth. And the reason is very simple, because there are no answers. And if you remember, when this story was broken by your channel, everybody was saying this is a question of propriety. And even at that time, the Bharatiya Janata Party and even I had said, no, this is a question of illegality, where you're violating the law of the country with impunity because you believe in VVIP culture. And second, this is a case of corruption. And now let me put forward a few points. First, it's a case of corruption for the reason that now the facts are staring at the face, and Arvind Kejriwal has no answers why such inflated bills were generated and payments were made at a great lightning speed to ensure that there are kickbacks. And Arvind Kejriwal today is synonymous to kickbacks. Second, as you rightly said, when you actually fell a tree, there is a law in the country and you have to ensure that there is afforestation as well. That is undertaken. Arvind Kejriwal is definitely money lover, black money lover, liquor lover, but he is not a nature lover. So, he has not even undertaken that exercise. Third, I heard him saying an old statement, Navika, मेरी औकात क्या है, हम अपनी औकात जानते हैं. अरविंद केजरीवाल जी, आज तो पूरा देश आपकी औकात जान गया है. आपकी औकात ये है, आपका एफिडेविट, आई एम रीडिंग इट आउट, Navika, it says that he would not take a big bungalow. What happened to that oath given in an affidavit? Can he even muster the courage to come out on Times Now and then speak about the lie that he spread at that time? Second, he said he will not take security. We see how many security guards he has, not only from the Delhi police, but even from the Punjab police. Third, he said, I will never take a big car. Now the Wagoner is gone. There is a convoy, a fleet of cars, all about taxpayers' money. Why doesn't he answer that? And then I want to also add this. They say that the ceiling was leaking. जो छत थी वो टपक रही थी. जब आप मार्बल लगाते हैं 6 करोड़ रुपए का, तो 6 करोड़ का मार्बल लगवाने से वियतनाम के छत कैसे टपकना बंद हो जाएगी नाविका? The point is very simple. Here is a, kattar baiman aadmi. He was able to, have a propaganda and get successful. But the people today are asking the tough questions and he need to be accountable to them.
Well, Mr. Suhel Seth, even this morning, Mr. Arvind Kejriwal held a press conference really worrying about pollution and environmental issues in Delhi. Ironical. Let me put that tweet of Aam Admi Party out and look at the 14-point summer action plan that he has put out today. And in that comes increase green cover. This right here, the tweet of Aam Admi Party is increase green cover. Where is the green cover increasing? 28, that's on your screens, ladies and gentlemen. Every rule in the book broken. The house that was falling apart is the house in which he continues to live for 2 years, builds another one behind it. I want to ask you, is this just about morality or is this really about some serious questions on how can you float tenders by saying addition, alteration and build a new bungalow without even coming clean on what you intend to do? Just because you're the Chief Minister, rules don't matter? I want to ask, what is your position on that?
So here is the reality. Almost every politician, almost every, irrespective of political parties, makes changes to their bungalows, official residences, but they do it within the purview of some level of decency and acceptability. I'm asking you, Navika, the LG of Delhi knows everything about everything. This was not done in the dark of the night. It's not as if he was playing in Legoland. Did the authorities not know that this was going on under their nose? You and I both know that the laws of Delhi are governed either by the NDMC or the DDA. Did these officials not know? Were they not complicit? Number 3, what is reprehensible is the hypocrisy and the manner in which Arvind Kejriwal always uses levels of discoursing, I have nothing. He builds an alternative hierarchy. That alternative hierarchy we have seen from time immemorial, including his erstwhile mentor, Anna Hazare, said of him that hypocrisy, thy name is Kejriwal. But this is not the issue is somewhat different. When Delhi is reeling because of a lack of green cover, the Chief Minister makes it a point. It's almost like a Nero, fiddling while Rome burns. I'm not even bothered about forestation, afforestation, blah, blah, blah. The point is, what kind of a role model are you when you say that your party is the only party that is honest, the only party that works for the people, and that all you do is you are a man of simple taste and simple means? Having said that, Navika, I'll tell you one thing. When power corrupts, it corrupts absolutely. When they are about to take power, they all talk about virtues of simplicity. We are very simple, honest, humble people. But suddenly when power touches them, the affliction is so deep and malicious and pernicious that they really don't know where to draw the line. You know what this will do actually, and you raised it in your opening remarks? This will set the party back from its descriptor of being this honest people's party. This is no longer the Aam Admi Party. This is the Khas Admi Party. And the Khas Admis are the ones who are actually profiteering at the cost of the taxpayer. These Khas Admis have no rules to follow. These Khas Admis are a law unto themselves. And that is the tragedy. Because all said and done, I personally, I don't belong to any political party. I had a lot of hope when Kejriwal first came on the scene, because he represented the aspirations of the common person. He was the voice of the common people. From India against corruption to Aam Admi mired in corruption is a journey which will tell its own story when history books are written. It is sad because not only has he let the people down, he, to my mind, has let his cadres down. I know a lot of people who actually believed in him and believed in his dictum of simplicity, of living simply, thinking highly. That equation is completely altered.
Let me ask Mr. Ravi Srivastava. Mr. Ravi Srivastava, do you think the Aam Admi Party owes his own supporters, people of Delhi, people in other states where he's been going fighting elections, an answer today? Because every time after the first day that Times Now reporters have gone anywhere close, they've either not been allowed to enter the press conference or reporters have been roughed up. And I can show you those visuals. On 3 days, our reporters have been roughed up by Aam Admi Party supporters, the private security around Mr. Arvind Kejriwal. Those visuals are very much on your screen. Ravi Srivastava, जब किसी को कुछ सच्चाई छुपानी होती है तभी ऐसे गुस्सा आता है कि आप जवाब नहीं देना चाहते, आप मारना पीटना शुरू कर देते हो. सवाल जायज है या नहीं?
There could be two things. One is that somebody does not want to subscribe to your story,
so they start beating up my reporters.
Concocted, fabricated, planted. No, allow me please. So that is one. The second is, if a person is violating some security norms or doing any such thing at a constitutional authority's residence. You recall clearly, Mr. Tejasvi Surya was agitating outside Mr. Kejriwal's residence and he was named for that. But since he was a BJP MP, nobody asked anything. So this is what I am saying, that Aam Admi Party representative on the very first day, when you broke the story, they did not defend, they did not say that what amount was spent on it. But whatever you are showing there is all in the, realm of speculation. I asked the BJP representative, because there's a media report that BJP handed over these documents to the media. Now BJP representative, let him come out and say, yes, we gave it.
Navika,
if you have given it, then I suspect. Because BJP has got a full-fledged IT cell. They can manipulate any document, they can Photoshop anything, they can edit anything, they can show any animated pictures. I don't trust that.
Can I respond, Navika?
Oh my God! So all those sound bites were animated pictures. All these documents from the PWD department, these are animated pictures. All those tender documents are animated pictures. हम मेहनत कर के मर गए. आप बीजेपी को ताज पहना दीजिए, क्योंकि आजकल आप ताज और महल से कम तो कोई बात करते ही नहीं है ना रवि श्रीवास्तव जी. आप तो ताज और महल के अलावा कोई बात ही नहीं करते. ताज बीजेपी का, महल आपका, आम आदमी और हम यहाँ बैठे ठन गोपाल.
Only BJP sound bites.
महल आपका, ताज उनका. गौरव भाटिया जी,
show me any opposition leader sound bite.
Please respond. I'm taking a quick round from everyone on the panel. Gaurav Bhatia to you first. Gaurav Bhatia to you first. Fake document, but for 9 days, Arvind Kejriwal has not found it necessary to, slap a legal case on us. वो 9 दिन से बेचारे देख ही रहे हैं, कुछ बोल नहीं रहे. Gaurav Bhatia.
In Navika, I heard Ravi Srivastava ji's argument, and it is a baseless argument without any substance, and the reason is very simple. He is saying the source of the information is very vital. The BJP has handed over these documents to the Times Now group. It's not the source which is important. It is the content, the allegations that are being made, which are very important.
Can you say you have not given
all
it?
That Arvind Kejriwal had to
given it? No,
step out.
I am not asking anything else.
Mr. Srivastava,
you reply one
don't
question,
reduce
have
it
you
to a
given it or not?
Why are you asking him, Mr. Ravi Srivastava? Ask
Navika,
me.
please ask him to be quiet.
Ask me, and I swear on everything holy that these have not been given to to me by the BJP. I am telling you, and I do not owe you any more answer beyond this. I'm completely flabbergasted. Gaurav Bhatia.
You owe me.
Gaurav Bhatia.
I'm showing you the picture.
Yes.
You may show whatever, I'm not interested. Show any animated picture you want to. Gaurav Bhatia is responding, I'm lowering your fader.
यस नाविका, दिक्कत क्या है ना, ऐसा पर्दा नहीं बना, चाहे 1 करोड़ का क्यों ना हो, जो अरविंद केजरीवाल की बेशर्मी को छुपा सके. फॉर द सेक ऑफ आर्ग्यूमेंट, आई एम सेइंग दैट इवन इफ द बीजेपी हैज गिवन यू द डॉक्यूमेंट्स, सो व्हाट? It is the content of the allegations borne out from the document which is important.
What is the truth?
Please be quiet. Please be quiet. Navika, this is not done.
Ravi Srivastava ji, you tell us the truth of the Raj Mahal, the Sheesh Mahal. Other truths are not important. Sheesh Mahal का truth बताइए. आपने उसको alteration क्यों कहा जब नया महल बनाना था? आपने पेड़ क्यों काटे? आपने लोगों की आंखों में धूल क्यों झोंकी? इसका जवाब दीजिए. आपसे और कोई ट्रूथ नहीं चाहिए.
If there is an
Navika,
I am telling you, if there is an irregularity, go file a complaint.
He is here to heckle us. Why should he be given time?
Everything.
Why should he be given time? He's
All
not
right.
even the official spokesperson of the Aam Admi
Ravi
Party.
Srivastava, you are disrupting the debate. I'm lowering your fader. Gaurav, complete your point. I'm going to the other panelists. Yes, Gaurav.
Thank you. You know, yes. Navika, I will quickly complete my point. You know, if Arvind Kejriwal was Kattar Imandar, then all he had to do was, he should have stepped out. First, he should have denied कि पर्दे 1 करोड़ के नहीं है, 45 करोड़ का renovation नहीं है, marble is not worth 6.2 crores, wardrobe is not worth 40 lakh, and superior interior consultancy के लिए 1 करोड़ नहीं हुआ. Second, he should have slapped a case against your channel and you, a defamation case, if he had any reputation. But he has not done that. So that means he is accepting the fact that these facts that are being shown on your channel are correct. And that is why he is speechless and defenseless.
Well, let me get in Tushar Gupta. Tushar Gupta, questions are being raised where we got the story from. Are you hearing any answers about the questions that I have raised?
The source doesn't matter.
Navika, firstly, people like Ravi Srivastava and the foolishness they're advocating shouldn't be a part of a debate as serious as this and not that on national television. Number 2, coming to Kejriwal. कह रहे हैं छत गिर रही है, कह रहे हैं छत गिर रही है, छत से पहले तो इनका ईमान गिर गया है.
You are the biggest fool on the earth. Mr. Tushar Gupta,
they say they were renovating the CM's house.
Ravi Srivastava ji,
they made all sorts of arguments.
Sir,
until a week ago.
Ravi Srivastava ji, let's not use foul language for each other. Let's keep the debate on the issues. Ravi Srivastava ji, calm down. I am saying nobody should call anybody a fool. कौन fool बना है? वो तो दिल्ली की जनता fool बन गई है. आप नहीं है. दिल्ली की जनता बनी है fool. But please hold your horses. Tushar Gupta, complete your point.
I say camera, he's a bloody fool.
Oh, come on, Ravi Srivastava. You know, this is a national television, and please remove Mr. Ravi Srivastava from the screen till he gets his act together. Tushar, complete your point.
Navika, what Arvind Kejriwal promised the people of Delhi was a Diwane-Aam. What he transformed his CM's house into was a Diwane-Khas. For the last 9 days, since you have released the very important report, we all have been asking, the commoners of NCR have been asking that one simple question, कि भाई 45 करोड़ में कैसी renovation होती है? Since day one, everyone was asking this question, that how can someone go ahead and spend this huge amount merely on renovation, merely on a house that is restricted in size. But today we know through satellite images, which cannot be manipulated by no party, by no media house, by no individual, by no group. They cannot manipulate satellite images that the house increased in area by 4 times. Forget afforestation. सीएम कहते हैं मैं आम आदमी हूं, मेरी औकात क्या है? घर का साइज 4 गुना बढ़ गया है. Tell me, Navika, I understand Arvind Kejriwal might have a staff. He might need a lot of rooms. I understand all that. Why does Arvind Kejriwal need a tennis court? He's an Aam Admi after all. We were told for 1 week that the roof was falling. The entire house was demolished to make a Sheesh Mahal. तो एक हफ्ते से भी झूठ चल रहा है. Forget defamation, Navika. Forget questioning your reporters. They are manhandling them on the ground. They have been making one story after the other to defend themselves. The roof did not fall. The entire house was demolished to make place for a royal palace for Arvind Kejriwal, who claimed to be an Aam Admi party, an Aam Admi. And you know, Navika, who's been cheated? Forget the taxpayers' money. Delhi is a revenue surplus city. It's the people of Delhi who have been fooled, who for the last decade trusted a man who they felt understood their problems, who they felt understood their perspective. But in the middle of COVID, this man was building a royal palace at taxpayers' money while running polls, Navika. Let's not forget, while running polls that should outsiders be allowed to get treatment in Delhi. This is Arvind Kejriwal for you.
Exactly. And Dr. Sanjay Jha, you know, you want to build a new house, by all means go ahead. Follow the rules, apply, get clearances. We all do that. Everybody has the right to renovate their house. But why the subterfuge? The question is, why is there a tender that is floated for alteration, for addition, and then you see through satellite imagery that it is a whole new complex, a whole new Taj Mahal that is being built, and the old house has been flattened over periods of times, and I've showed you 2017, 2019, 21 and 22 pictures. And then a new garden comes up and trees are felled, the green cover goes, and this is the protected area of Delhi. In 1994, Sheila ji brought in the law that no trees could be felled, no new buildings could come up. What was going on, Dr. Sanjay Jha? Doesn't Mr. Kejriwal owe an answer to the nation?
Navika, I can tell you that broadly I agree with what Suhel articulated. I think he's basically addressed the fundamental points of our debate. But there are 2 points to this entire, you know, what I call as a very gaudy or a flashy transaction. Number 1 is the expenditure itself. And number 2 is there any malfeasance or a quid pro quo? Now, on the expenditure, it's without doubt, I'm not aware of how the real estate market is and what the construction costs are there, but it appears prima facie very profligate. Clearly, I don't think that can be disputed by anyone. 45 crores, no matter what the scope and size and dimension, is a lot of money. The second point is there a quid pro quo? Now, I do believe that is where what Suhel mentioned becomes rather pertinent to our debate, which is that, you know, this kind of a construction is not happening under some kind of a radar screen. It is pretty much visible to the whole world. And end of day, even today, it's not too late post facto to do an investigation to find out if those bills are fudged or is there any kind of, you know, money which has been, you know, kind of made in some kind of a shady deal. I think there are 2 different aspects. In my opinion, as a politician or as somebody who's pretty much aware of how these things work, I believe, you know, as you have pointed out in your introduction, this damages whether the AAP is able to justify it or not, only time will tell. It does affect their credibility. No denying that. I've been part of the Congress, but I've always believed in a democracy. A new political alternative should be welcomed. It's good competition. And, you know, even if the Congress was perhaps the most electorally damaged by the AAP, I actually took on my own party when I said, you know, we should follow AAP in terms of disclosing who funds the political parties. So, you know, there were some things that did right, but this is definitely going to damage their credibility. The one point though I do want to mention is the hypocrisy of the entire political culture and establishment on green India. I'll give you an example. I mean, my friend Gaurav should not talk about the pain and the excruciating torture of losing trees. India ranks today at the bottom, 180 out of 180 countries in environmental performance index. We don't just care. I mean, Delhi only talks about pollution for those few weeks in winter, but the way we are destroying our environment is a separate topic of debate. Well, so I do believe both are.
Well, then why should questions not be asked that in the winter months when pollution is at the highest level, that's when clearances are being given to fell trees? Why should that question not be asked? And I want to ask that question to Ms. Huda. Ms. Huda, October, apply. In 4 days, you get the clearance. AIIMS will not get a clearance. Delhi Metro will not get a clearance. But Mr. Arvind Kejriwal's residence, I'm not comparing the size of the two projects. Of course, more trees would be felled for the Delhi Metro, but then more people use it. Yahan, for one person's vanity, you can, cut 28 trees and not appear for notices that the forest department sends you because you haven't really replaced those trees. All those rules are broken for one man's vanity. But for public projects, there is no provision for giving any permission. So what if it takes 3 years for him to clear those files? I want to ask you, why are these double standards? Why this hypocrisy?
Good evening, Navika ji. So I'm quoting a report by The Hindu. During the time of the Central Vista project, 2,446 trees were felled. I think the question is... Wait.
Yeah, we can hear you. Go on.
Please fix the audio. I'm hearing my own voice.
Yeah, please go on.
Right. So 2,446 trees were felled during the time of the Central Vista project. That was during just the first phase of it. I am going to forward that report to Times Now. It's a report by The Hindu. So when Gaurav ji is talking about environment, this is something that he needs to take due cognizance of. Number one. Number two, we are talking about, foul language was mentioned here. He just called my party Chief Minister Besharam. By all standards on a national debate, I believe that is not a language that the respected BJP spokesperson should be using. Number three, Aam Admi Party did not accept or deny these charges. We are yet to hear a verdict from them. So by that standard, it is not the Aam Admi Party who is kind of,
from them,
backing out from
verdict
any of these
from
claims.
them.
Just
Suhel
the fact that
Seth,
they do not
जुर्म
want
भी
to honor,
करेंगे और verdict भी वही देंगे.
allegations. They do not want to
जुर्म
have
भी उनका, verdict भी उनका, तो हम क्या कर रहे हैं?
They do not want to have further communication on the issue because there are bigger. Navika ji, please allow me.
They have bigger issues.
Allow me 30 seconds.
Ms. Jariwala,
They do not want to honor the allegations because there are bigger, better things to talk about. There is price rise to talk about.
Ms. Jariwala,
to talk about. There is a rampant corruption by the BJP to talk about.
And the Aam Admi Party will take a stand on corruption when it puts out wrong tenders for renovation and addition and alteration. And Aam Admi Party will give lectures on corruption.
Navika ji,
Huda Zariwala, hold your thoughts. Suhel Seth wants to respond to you. Ma'am, just hold your thoughts. Suhel Seth coming into the debate. Man,
allow me a few seconds.
You're Shankar Mahadevan breathless. 1 minute.
Ms. Jariwala, your points are accepted, and let me take each point on its merits. You're absolutely right. A number of trees, 2,000 odd trees, were felled during the Central Vista Phase 1. But they have been replaced with trees under the afforestation thing. My other point, Ms. Jariwala, is we are not into whataboutery. Why did you do this? Why did you? The Aam Admi Party came to power on a very simple proposition. Honesty and transparency will be our credo. And you're absolutely right. When these issues came into the public domain, you don't wait for 8 days to pronounce a verdict. They're not the judges. If Arvind Kejriwal was unhappy or felt that this was defamatory or plain lies, Mr. Kejriwal is well aware of two things. One is the court of public opinion, because he knows how to use the media adroitly. And the second is the court which is judicial. Nothing has happened. In fact, Ms. Jariwala, if you are part of that party, my advice to you would be to tell these people that you don't allow an opinion to fester without either a contradiction or a statement of clarification, because then that becomes the reality. So it is actually harming the Aam Admi Party by being silent. If you genuinely believe that this is all false and the narrative is agenda driven, then you need to communicate that, but you've kept silent. So what have you shown? You have shown the arrogance of honesty, which has now been exposed. I'm just saying, I'm telling you about perception. People are going to ask you questions. The credo on which Arvind Kejriwal came to power has been badly damaged. Let me finish. I can keep seeing your finger moving. Let me finish. Let me finish. I will certainly finish very quickly. My simple
Well, I'm
point
not given
is,
enough time on national television.
that's
Hence
the
I need
anchor's
to
problem.
keep
Don't
moving my
blame me for
finger.
that. Let me finish. My issue very simply is, Ms. Zariwala, today the Aam Admi Party came on the plank of being a party with a difference. You are no longer a party with a difference. In fact, my advice would be that if you want to continue to be the party with a difference, then do things differently. Don't do the same things under the cover of
Huda Zariwala, one short question and I want a 30-second answer. My question to you is, the first day the explanation was that the roof of the old house was giving in. That is why it needed to be repaired and reconstructed. Now satellite images show that it is not the old house. He continued to live in the old house with the roof falling. So maybe the roof falling was not a correct statement. I'm not calling it a lie, but not a correct statement. Or the fact is that all along आपने धोखा दिया. आप पुराने घर में रह रहे थे, नया घर बना रहे थे और alteration और addition के budget पास करवा रहे थे. One of these two is right. Which one is right? Please tell the people of this country.
So I'd like to respond to that question by another question. Which
No,
is when
no other question, only answers. I am not invited you for asking questions. Asking questions is my job. Asking questions is my job, my friend. You have to answer the question in 30 seconds. 30 seconds, answer the question.
I am going to answer that. I am going to answer that. Right. So, as far as the expenditure on the so-called Sheesh Mahal of Aam Admi Party is concerned, I mean, Aam Admi Party has not come out and denied any of this, neither has it accepted any of this.
Well, they often say no denial is acceptance. Gaurav Bhatia, no denial, no clarification, vanishing from the scene. What does it show? What does it show for the Aam Admi Party? Not one single answer to any of the questions that we are asking. Zariwala, I don't have time to waste if you don't have answers. Gaurav Bhatia, lowering everybody else's face.
All right. You know, there is a term in a legal parlance which is called admission through acquiescence. When you remain quiet over a burning issue and facts stare at you and you don't reply, then it is also deemed to be an acceptance. Second, Huda ji is trying to compare this to the Central Vista project. I have the answer to that also. Huda ji, you must, please do not do that. That's not very good. Be civilized, wait for your turn.
Renovation of the
no, Navika, this is not acceptable. Please.
Huda Zariwala,
you're a political analyst.
You really spoil the debate by not answering questions and speaking when other people are speaking. Please hold on. Gaurav, complete your point.
Yes. Yes. Navika, on the second comparison that she made, again, she's actually wrong. She's a political analyst. I last checked, she's not the spokesperson of the Aam Admi Party. A political analyst should always be very incisive and neutral and should not overlook the facts that are staring at her. Now, this is the reply, and I'm reading it from an article from a very prestigious publication. In a written reply in the Rajya Sabha today, the minister said over 1,000 trees have been transplanted at other locations so far. He said compensatory plantation of 10 times of the trees to be transplanted is also being done within Delhi in the Central Vista project. So this is not the case. So you can't compare the two. And last but not the least, I want to also read out the tweet by Arvind Kejriwal on 27th of October 2013, Navika. And this is what he said. All the viewers definitely should listen to this. दिल्ली की मुख्यमंत्री शीला दीक्षित के घर में 10 एसी लगे हुए हैं. मैंने तो सुना है उनके बाथरूम में भी एसी लगा हुआ है. कौन भरता है उनके एसी का बिल? मैं और आप भरते हैं. मेरा तो कलेजा कांप उठता है ये सोचकर कि जब दिल्ली की 40% जनता झुग्गियों में रहती है तब कोई मुख्यमंत्री कैसे एक आलीशान घर में रह सकता है. दिस इज व्हाट आई आस्क to Arvind Kejriwal.
Well, the questions are many and we'll continue to ask those questions. Allegations can be made against our reporters who ask those questions, allegations made against us. किसने दिए कागज? सवाल ये नहीं है कि किसने दिए कागज. सवाल ये है कि आप क्या सच से इकोनोमाइज कर रहे थे? Were you being economical with the truth when you said your new home was being altered and added to? Were you actually building a new palace behind the old one? Were you actually giving the truth when you said that the roof was caving in the old bungalow? Were you all along wanting to make a new bungalow because you did not shift out from the bungalow where the roof was caving in? Mr. Arvind Kejriwal and his family continue to live there. So where do the lies end and where does the truth begin? At the moment, the boundary is blurred. We'll continue to follow this story. Thank you very much to my panelists for joining me on debate number 1. On the